When was the last time you did something hard and really truly followed through? And not necessarily because someone asked you to do it, but because you truly wanted to do it and you believed in your capability of being able to accomplish it. I think that feeling that we can trust ourselves is one of the most powerful things that we can build. And a lot of us are starving for it. We live in a world where we are bombarded with all of these distractions that keep us from really focusing on accomplishing our tasks. And when we follow through, our confidence in ourselves builds, our belief in ourselves builds, and we become more likely to follow through on the things that the Lord is asking of us. Welcome to the Divine Worth podcast, where we are letting go of our self-doubt, anxiety, fear, limiting beliefs, so that we can step into the divine roles that God has for us. I am your host, life coach Karen Pappen, and together we are embracing our divine worth and potential. All right, welcome to the podcast today. To be honest, I'm feeling a little nervous about even sharing this today. And it's interesting because I have been sharing about it a lot. And maybe that's part of the reason why I'm having a hard time even doing a podcast episode on it, is because I feel like I've been sharing about it a lot on like social media and in my email and things like that. I'm a little afraid that people are getting sick of me talking about it. But I did feel that sharing what I learned from this recent experience that I've had is something that is really important. And so I want to share how I have grown, how my confidence has grown, and how my relationship with the Lord has grown through my 30-day no sugar challenge. Now, first, what I want to share with you is what led me to actually even want to do this 30-day challenge. So in December, my now 8-year-old was struggling with a few things. She was thirsty a lot. She was using the restroom a lot. She was feeling hungry a lot. And there were a few other signs and symptoms that we needed to discuss with her doctor. And so we took her in, spoke with the doctor, got a complete blood work done for her, which I am super proud of her because my kids are absolutely terrified of needles. And she did it, and she was just so brave and very curious, asking all of these questions. And we get the blood work back, and it turns out that she was pre-diabetic. And I was terrified because I knew that this meant we needed to be a lot more strict on what we were eating. I knew that this could lead diabetes. And remember, she's only 8 years old. She was showing these signs of pre-diabetes, yet at the same time, we were really not unhealthy in what we're eating, but there definitely were some changes that we could make, and we could be a lot more strict. And as I found out in this whole journey, our kids are bombarded with sugar, whether that's not necessarily in the home, but at church and at school, they are constantly being offered sugar. There was one time where after we found out she was pre-diabetic and she's staying away from all the sugar, and she's there at church after church waiting to get going. I think within a 30-minute span, she was offered sugar about 3 or 4 times. And finally, my husband just had to step in and tell everyone she's pre-diabetic. And then everyone was like, okay. Um, but it just kind of shows that it's like our kids really are offered sugar a lot. And I've started to realize that throughout this whole process that we went through. And one of the things that I realized, that if I wanted my kids to commit to living a healthier lifestyle, to making sure that they are eating their veggies first before, and making sure that the majority of their meal, at least half their plate, is veggies, and staying away or at least limiting how much added sugar they are eating, then I actually need to make the changes as well. And so about 2 months into this whole journey, I finally committed to staying away from sugar myself for 30 days. And what I love about 30-day challenges is it sounds doable to me, right? Sometimes when we think of changing our lives and changing our habits, it sounds a little overwhelming. And we start to question, can I actually make this a lasting change? And so what I love about 30-day challenges is it builds belief in ourselves to be able to see that I made it one day. I made it 2 days. I made it a whole week. I made it 10 days and so on and all the way to the end of the 30-day challenge. Our belief builds every step of the way as we have these 30-day challenges. And so that's why I wanted to do my own personal 30-day no sugar challenge. And I did it. And so what I want to share with you today are some really big things that helped me during those 30 days. And if you're wanting to dive more into the things that I've learned and do your own 30-day challenge, I've created a 30-day challenge with video lessons, tracking sheets, and daily reminders for you to be able to stay committed to those 30 days and to be able to help you to not just believe in your capability of doing it, but to partner with God in this whole experience. So maybe you have tried something like this and failed. And so that shame starts to come in, or maybe you've tried to make habits in the past and just have felt like you just cannot seem to stick with something. Maybe you find yourself constantly reaching for sugar when you're stressed, when you're bored, when you're feeling some of those anxious feelings or anger or all these emotions that we start to feel that we have a hard time experiencing. And we start turning to the sugar instead of actually pausing and feeling our emotions and turning to God. Um, and if you have felt any of those things or found yourself doing these things, then I hope that what I have to share today will help you. Because I know that sticking to changes in our lives can be something that is difficult. And yet, I also know that you are capable of doing it. And one of the most powerful things that I have learned is that when we partner with God in our goals, He helps us to be able to accomplish them. I love how in 3rd Nephi in First Nephi chapter 3, verse 7, Nephi says, I will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded, for I know that he giveth no commandment unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them to accomplish it. Okay, I don't think that was word for word, but at the same time, what Nephi is saying, it was, yeah, I'm going to go and do what the Lord is asking of me because I know he will help me to be able to do it. He's going to prepare a way. And so when we are setting out in our goals in life, in making the changes that we want to change in our lives, when we turn to the Lord and as it says in Alma 37, with the Lord in all thy doings, and he will direct thee for good. That is what happens. The Lord does direct us in those challenges. And the amazing thing about that as well is as we turn to the Lord, he gives us the strength to overcome the temptations that we face. The Lord has overcome all things, and because he has overcome all things, we too can overcome all things. Another powerful thing, including the feelings that come up in our day-to-day lives, the stresses that we have, the anxiety that we experience, all those uncomfy emotions, when we turn them over to the Lord and when we actually allow him into our lives and to be there with us as we experience those emotions, allowing ourselves to pause and to feel and to process, something powerful happens. Well, suddenly we aren't needing to turn to other things because we are finding strength through the Lord, and he helps us to be able to overcome. So what is it that you find yourself continually turning to instead of the Lord? What are those habits that you have that isn't sugar? Is it something salty? Is it sugar? Is it scrolling through social media? Is it seeking approval from others? What is it that you find yourself doing instead of understanding, of allowing the Lord in and helping him to show you that you are already of worth? What I have found through my 30-day challenge is that when those sugar cravings come, it's actually because I am trying to fill an emotional wound within me. So what emotional wounds need healing? And how can you turn to the Lord instead of those things that you are currently trying to use to fill that emotional wound, which really are just temporary pleasures, temporary ways of feeling those emotional wounds. And a lot of times can actually exacerbate the experiences, that less than feeling. Another thing that I feel is really important and has really helped me when it comes to setting and keeping goals is the power of identity shifts and understanding who we truly are. Because when we embrace who we truly divinely are as children of God, then we recognize and understand that we are capable of doing anything because we have our Heavenly Father's spiritual DNA within us. And so, as we continually turn to Him and are guided by Him and allow the Lord's atonement into our lives, we are able to overcome time and time again. We're able to learn, we're able to grow, and we become more like our Heavenly Father. And so, when it comes to setting a goal, like this 30-day challenge and staying away from sugar for 30 days. It's not necessarily about actually staying away from sugar for 30 days. For me, it was more important to set an identity based goal and to focus on the fact that I am loving, listening to, and taking care of my body. It was more about taking care of my body and about setting that example for my daughter, which is more of an identity based goal, more in line with my values and who I truly am than wanting to lose weight, which is a very surface level goal. And yes, I did lose weight during the challenge, and I'm continuing to lose weight as I continue to limit how much sugar I have because the most powerful thing that has happened for me in this whole challenge is the identity shift that I've had as being someone who eats sugar to now being someone who does not eat sugar. And that has been something that I struggled to be able to see in myself before this challenge. I'm like, which is why it took me a couple months to be able to actually commit to this challenge, right? And when I finally decided to do that 30-day challenge, I was all in and I wanted to be able to create that identity shift. And I knew that going forward, something would happen. I knew that the hardest time for me in this whole challenge would not actually be in this challenge, but after this challenge, when it was time for me to be like, oh, I'm done with my challenge. What now? Right. And I realized that I can embrace this idea of I am someone who does not eat sugar and still with the understanding that it's like if someone like, and I'll share a personal example, my daughter came home from school and she had gone to the ag store with a friend and brought me this small container of salted caramel ice cream, which I was one of my favorite ice creams before my 30-day challenge. And she was thinking of me and she brought it home to me. And this was after my challenge. And so I had that decision. It's like, okay, do I accept this gift from my daughter? Which was a very thoughtful gift. And this is not the daughter who's pre-diabetic, just bringing that in. But do I accept this gift from my daughter or do I reject it? And in that moment, what felt right was accepting the gift from my daughter. And then I had the decision. Does this mean I am someone that eats sugar? And I realized, no, actually it's not because I can accept this gift and I can eat it. And then I can move forward not eating it anymore. And I can move forward tomorrow not eating sugar and the next day not eating sugar and the next day not eating sugar and still be someone who does not eat sugar, even if I am accepting this gift at this time and eating sugar at this time. And that is the type of person that I want to be, not someone who turns to the sugar because it is there. And there have been times where someone has offered me sugar and I've said, no, I don't, I'm not eating sugar. There have been times that I have said that as well. But in that moment, it was about accepting a gift from my daughter. So throughout this challenge, that was one thing that I was trying to figure out too, was who was I going to be after the challenge? And I realized I want to be someone who does not eat sugar, yet at the same time, not be so strict on myself that if someone does give me a really thoughtful sugar gift, it's okay. I can eat it. Or if my friends are going out to get some ice cream, I can go with them. And an occasional treat is not going to harm me. Now, I also knew that I can overdo that excuse of an occasional treat's not going to harm me and start thinking, oh, because we start to think of other ways to celebrate, right? And so I'm thankful for that knowledge as well. But moving forward, I realized that I can still say that I am someone who does not eat sugar because 99% of the time, I am not eating sugar. So there really is a power in changing the identity and beliefs about your identity that you have and starting to set goals around who it is that you are becoming. So this 30-day challenge for me was not about just staying away from sugar or losing weight. It really was about who do I want to be moving forward? I want to be someone who turns to the Lord instead of the sugar. I want to be someone who's setting a good example of healthy living. And I want to be someone who honors my body, who loves my body, who is listening to my body and taking care of my body. All right. And the other lesson that I wanted to share with you was I really believe in a whole soul approach to our goals and to our lives. And what that is that we have these key areas of our lives that as we improve one, it affects the other areas. So just to give you, so mind, body, spirit, and also I bring in social. And so if you look at the children youth program in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, these kind of go along with that too. You've got the spiritual goals, the social goals, the physical goals, the intellectual goals. And so this mind, body, spirit, social all go along with that as well. And so in my 30-day challenge, I used each of these areas to be able to strengthen my 30-day goal. I worked on my mindset, having that affirmation of I am loving, listening to, and taking care of my body. That is something that I told myself often throughout the 30 days. And I continue to tell that to myself because I am continuing to make changes in my life to be able to be healthier as well. I noticed that if I didn't get enough sleep, I felt more sugar cravings the next day. Movement was something that really helped me. Instead of turning to sugar, I'd walk around my house for a few minutes. And what's great about doing that is you can also say a little prayer asking Heavenly Father, please help me to be able to resist these cravings and process my feelings so that I can connect more with myself, connect more with you, connect more with those around me. And so that movement was also really helpful. I also learned during this challenge because one thing that I did during the challenge, which was also a mindset portion of this, was to listen to audiobook after audiobook, as well as reading books on pre-diabetes and nutrition and healthy living. And so I was also just really filling my mind with this knowledge as well. And so one of the things that I learned was if you walk for 10 to 15 minutes after eating, that can keep you from having a glucose spike. So that's just another thing that I learned. Spirit, I've kind of already mentioned that is that I am partnering with God. I am turning to Him instead of to the sugar, and then continuing to read the scriptures and to pray. Those things are really powerful when you are moving forward in this 30-day challenge. And then social was something that also really helped me to be able to stay committed. Was almost every day I was sharing about how the challenge was going. And so it was something I was sharing often with others and letting them know, hey, I'm doing this, I am committed to it. And I received a lot of strength and support because I was actually sharing what it is that I was going through. So not only was sharing what I was doing holding me accountable, but it was also helping me to be able to get some support from others as well. So these are the things that have really helped me throughout my 30-day challenge. And there are also some of the things that I talk about in my 30-day challenge are also, as well as several tips and other ways of applying each of these things into your life for the 30 days. So if you are interested in going deeper into all of these things that we talked about and doing your own 30-day challenge to help you to love, listen to, and take care of your body and set an example for those around you, then be sure to check out my 30-day challenge at karenpappen.com live.com/coaching/no sugar. And I'll also put the link in the show notes so you can check that out. As we start to really partner with the Lord in our lives, partner with the Lord in the goals that we are setting, He gives us that guidance and direction that we need. He helps us to be able to know where we need to focus. He reminds us of why it is so important. And can you just imagine what would happen if we all start to be able to have that connection with Him and we turn to Him instead of these vices that we're turning to, like sugar? Can you imagine how much more our light is going to shine? Because we start to believe more in ourselves and we start to take action versus hiding and shaming ourselves for doing those things that are actually not productive, for turning to those things versus turning to the Lord. For now, I want to invite you to think of a few questions, reflection questions. What is the thing you reach for when you don't want to feel what you're feeling? What would you believe about yourself if you did something hard for 30 days? Where in your life are you using willpower alone instead of inviting God in? Where are you trying to do it all on your own versus allowing the Lord to do His great work within you and be there and support you through it? And who can you tell about what you're committing to? Not to perform it to show them that you can do it, but to let them in to support you and strengthen you in the process. Pick one small and simple thing that you can do and commit to it. Maybe not for 30 days, maybe just for 1 day or for 7 days, whatever works best for you in your circumstance right now. And start to believe in yourself because you are capable, you are strong. And the more that you believe in yourself, the bigger the impact that you can make on those around you. As you take those steps forward of turning to the Lord, listening to His guidance, taking those steps forward in the things that He sees you capable of doing. And I will see you next time on the Divine Word Podcast. Now, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Divine Word Podcast. Next week, I am doing something a little different with the podcast. I am going to be doing a preview of something that I've got coming up in honor of Mother's Day called She Is Known. And sometimes in life, we struggle to be able to see who we are among all the different roles and responsibilities that we have. And so I really wanted to do something special for Mother's Day. I kind of put it off and was like, I don't know if I should do that. May's a really busy month. There's already a lot going on. But I just felt that this was something that I needed to do. And so I contacted a few friends who are amazing speakers to discuss with me some special topics, such as you are known beyond what you do, and being seen by God in the different stages of motherhood. And then also when motherhood feels harder than you expected. And so next week, I will share more about that and you can hear some of the clips from that. And if you want to go deeper, be sure to check out She Is Known. I hope you know that God sees you in whatever circumstance or situation that you are in life. He sees you. He loves you. He knows you. And He is there with you through it all. You are of worth, you are loved, and only you can make a difference in this world that you are meant to make.